Welcome back again to Go Fund This, the podcast where you find out about the coolest crowdfunding campaigns out there that you want to know about. I'm your host, Rob Southgate, and today I am joined by Arnon Shorr to talk about the Kickstarter for Maggid Magazine. I am really thrilled to have Arnon back on and really love this project. I think you will too. Enjoy. I am so happy to have you back. Today we've got Arnon Shorr with us. He's been on before. You've heard him before. And it's funny, Arnon's project has not left my mind since we spoke. He kind of knows he's at the top of my mind all the time. So the fact that he reached out and was able to come back on got me really excited. I love talking to you, Arnon. So I know
Love being here.
saying your name. Yeah, I keep saying your name and all that, but why don't you tell the audience who you are, what you do? Be fascinating like I know you are.
Well, I'll tell you which hats I'm wearing today. My name is Arnon Shorr. I am a filmmaker, a screenwriter, a comic book author, but today I'm here as editor-in-chief of Maggid Comics, a Jewish comics imprint at SourcePoint Press. And we're going to be talking about a crowdfunding campaign that we are just on the brink of launching. The first day that the campaign is actually going to be totally live and taking contributions is Friday, July 21st, which coincides with Comic-Con. And I'll be at Comic-Con in San Diego speaking on a couple panels there and talking all about this thing. But it's a campaign for a Jewish comics magazine called Maggid Magazine. And I'm really excited about it.
You know what? I'm excited too, because I have people I can send your way that I'm sure you'll want to highlight. So the description: a monthly magazine of Jewish comics by diverse creators, paving the way for authentic Jewishness and popular entertainment. Fantastic. I know that you've made great inroads with your other projects. I think this is a natural progression. Let's get the business out of the way. It's on Kickstarter. It's Maggid Magazine, Maggid Magazine. So you can look for it that way, or you can find it in the show notes. The goal is $30,000. At the moment of this recording, we have 39 days to go. Is that correct? Or is the whole thing going to be 39 days?
The whole thing's going to be 4 weeks, about a month.
Okay. So yeah. Right now we have 39 days. That would make sense. $30,000, an easy number to hit, let's say, because I think this is such a great project. I think that you have the juice to make something like this happen. Anyone listening, I encourage you highly to follow the link in the show notes so you will be notified when this goes live, and also so that when it goes live, you can back this project, and also you can share it with your friends. There are a lot of people out there that would be really intrigued by this, that would be right on this. I know that I'm going to be sharing this like crazy because I have a lot of comic book friends who would be interested, a lot of Jewish friends who would be interested, a lot of fans of the arts that would be interested. So, because they were interested in your last project too, Arnon. So, so there we go. That's what it is. Now, can you give us, now that I've given this kind of broad stroke, can you talk about the magazine a little bit more? Tell us what you're doing in it, what's involved.
Sure. Well, our goal is to create an all-ages monthly comics magazine that will contain comics stories that have Jewish characters, Jewish themes, that are sort of proud to be overtly Jewish, but also overtly entertaining. You know, we're not in this to do the sort of heavy introspective stuff. We want to create entertainment, popular entertainment. And the comics in the magazine are going to range from, on the short end, we're going to have, strip comics and single panel comics, all the way up to 10, 11, 12 pages. And the stories will continue from one issue to the next. So they're going to be serialized stories for the most part. And we'll pepper it in with other stuff too, fun, Jewish fandom articles and interviews of Jewish celebrities and all that sort of thing. The crowdfunding campaign is for the first 3 issues of this magazine, and it's really a critical test run for this bigger project. If we're successful with this crowdfunding campaign, it's not just that we'll have the money to create these 3 issues, but it's going to demonstrate a market. It's going to demonstrate that there are actually people out there who are interested in these stories, that are excited about these stories. Now, we know there are people out there, but in order to get, the full get a full year going to get the funding for a bigger project. We need to be able to prove it. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, hey, this is a cool idea, um, make a contribution to the campaign. It really matters that you do that. It does not matter if it's $2 or $200 or 2,000. I mean, of course, $2,000 would be much
Of
nicer,
course, 2000 would be very
but
generous, but
your it's essentially, voting with that dollar to say, hey, this is a worthwhile thing. I
right.
want to see this in the world, and I'm willing to back it to prove that it's important.
That brings up a really important point that I have not talked about on this show, but as a marketing nerd, there's something that people forget with these campaigns, and your campaign is a perfect example of this. So we've got this goal. It's for the first 3 issues. We hit this goal. It actually is the seed that launches this, right? I've talked about that before and how important that is. So if you see a project like this that is intriguing, really support it however you can. $1, $2, $10, $2,000, whatever makes a huge difference. But there's another aspect here that people really don't think about. The number of backers matters. So let's say Arnon, I'm not cursing you here. Let's say Arnon doesn't hit this goal. Okay. I know. I'm all confident you're going to hit it. But let's say you don't hit this goal, but you had $20,001 donations, right? Okay, you didn't hit the goal. You didn't get it. But now you can go to angel investors, you can go to backers and say, hey, look, yeah, we didn't hit this goal, but 20,000 people jumped in on this thing. There's an audience here. That number actually matters a lot. If you hit
It
this goal,
absolutely does.
You hit this goal with 5 people, yeah, it might take it'll give you the money, but that could be, 5 uncles that threw in the money, and you're like, well, does this have legs past issue 3? So I highly encourage people to, even if you're spreading around a few bucks, do it, because it truly matters to crowdfunding like this. So, okay, let's jump into your tiers. What are some of the tiers? Let's pick a few that you think people will be really interested in and want to get in on.
Sure. Well, I mean, to start with, if you think this Jewish Comics magazine is a really fun idea, the easiest way to make sure you get a hold of one is by jumping in at one of the middle tiers that include a copy of the magazine. So at the $18 tier, you can get a PDF of the magazine. At the $25 tier, you can get a PDF of all 3 of these first issues. And then once we jump up to $36, you can get a physical copy of the magazine in the mail, which is eventually how we're going to be distributing this magazine. It's going to be mailed to you every month. So $36, $50, that's either one issue or all 3 issues physical that you get to hold and keep. But we also have some really kind of cool, unusual perks at some of the higher tiers. Like at $250, you get illustrated into some of the new content we're including in the magazine. So that's kind of fun. You get to
Those are always super popular. That's a good one.
So fun. But also because we're working with Source Point Press, we get to kind of tap into some of the brain trust there. And one of the top people at Source Point, Josh Werner, he agreed to do an illustrated social media avatar at the $500 perk level. So you can have a custom illustrated comic book style, your face on your Facebook profile or Twitter profile, or your social media platform of choice, illustrated by Josh Werner. Kind of a personal portrait by a guy who's very, very well respected in the comics arts world.
That's a great tier. That sounds really fun. That one is tier 14, right?
Tier 14. Yeah, we have 18 tiers on this thing. Wow. And we chose that. Some of the folks we're working with, they're like, why do you have so many tiers? And well, 18 is a typological number in Judaism. It is a good luck number. It stands for life. It's it's a very positive sort of number. So I thought, you know what? If we're going to do this as a Jewish crowdfunding campaign, let's lean into some of our folklore and some of our mythology and If it's going to be 18 tiers, that's so be it. We'll keep track of that and make it work.
Yeah, why not?
It also gives people lots of options at rate. I mean, the tiers start at $2 and top out at 10,000. So we're giving people a huge range to choose from for helping support this thing.
I've seen a lot of these that have a lot of tiers like this, that they are similar all the way through, very confusing. Just looking through your tiers, every one of them makes sense. Every one of them, the value seems right to me. Man, if I had $10,000, I'd be tier 18. We get to go to dinner. You and I go to dinner at a kosher
Oh
restaurant. I mean,
yeah,
that's a win right there.
absolutely. And you're in Chicago, right? So there's good kosher
Yes.
restaurants there.
Oh, yes. Now, I am going to say at some point, I'm not going to spend $10,000, but I do expect you and I to go to dinner at some point.
Love the
Uh,
idea. Let's make
I
it
think,
happen.
but man, that one right away, I saw that. I was like, $10,000. I was like, I would so do that if I had the money. That's a great one, man. I love this. I love everything you've got going on in here. I think that your tiers are really interesting. I think the project is fantastic. It's so interesting to me, the impact of the Jewish creator in comics. It used to be that people didn't necessarily know that like Superman was created by two Jewish men, or wasn't I think Bill Finger was he
Yep.
Jewish, or was it Bob Kane, or were both of them?
I think they both were.
Wow. So I mean, these are people that like kind of defined the beginnings of all of it, and it all came out of them. They were Jewish, and it's something that it used to be just like with Hollywood. It was kind of something that wasn't talked about as much. But now as we're seeing it, it's like, wait a minute, this is an incredibly creative group, and we should be celebrating it. And it's still happening this way. So I love that you have this product. And it reminds me of some of my favorite books, especially when I was younger. That's why this is going to be super impactful for younger people. And it's going to be impactful for people that are real fans of comics, like deep fans that are not just buying, the latest superhero book, but like love the underground stuff and all that. It reminds me of like when I was a kid I got a fanographic book that had multiple storylines in it. It was like a sampler, and they'd come out with it like once a quarter. I waited for this, and I was way too young to be reading these fanographics books. And then in England, they have a funny book, kind of like a Mad Magazine, called Core. And people that listen to my show, Alley Chats, know that I interviewed a whole bunch of people from that. And it's the same kind of thing. It's all these amazing people that try their hand at doing short little fun strips, and some of them are continuations and some of them are just one shots, and it'll have like a little interview in there. I love it. I love this type of book so much. uh this is one that I think is missing in the world. So well done, Arnon.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done
you. So,
identifying a blue ocean in comics.
and
uh
the Jewish identity stuff is to me that's kind of a, a big missing piece in the comics world. I mean, when I walk into a comics shop, with my kids, let's say, and we're looking around, we're seeing all this great stuff, and so much of it, was created by Jewish creators, but the characters,
right,
like, we don't
don't
see
represent.
ourselves. We are not represented in the stories or in the characters.
Right.
And so, my hope for this is not just that it's going to be a fun read and it's going to be exciting, it's going to be entertaining, but that folks who are Jewish in some way get to be seen.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to see ourselves, and the other side of that, of course, which is even in some ways even more critical, is that other people who are not Jewish get to see us. You know,
That right there is where it gets me. So I'm big white guy number one, right? English and Scottish is my background. I mean, eh, I'm lucky I have any melatonin in my skin at all. And I'm represented in everything, right? But my childhood, my dad was an avant-garde jazz musician. I was around everybody. My friends, when I look at my friends list growing up, my best friend was from India. When he moved away, the two kids that moved in across the street were from Peru. My best friends in high school, two of my best friends were Jewish, and they went to the temple that's up the street from me. I didn't really, I didn't really know a difference. I knew they were these things, and they knew what I was, but it wasn't like one of these defining things that society has tried to segregate us on. And the reason I bring this up is it also impacted big white dude. I would go and read comics, and I'm like, I don't see my friends in here. My world doesn't look like this,
Yeah.
and movies and TV, same thing. Like, when they get an Indian person in a TV show, and for years everybody was Apu, and I'm like, I knew Sanjay's whole family that none of them were Apu. They
Right.
were all sorts of things, but not one was Apu. Why is that the only thing being represented? And why don't we, like, if I was him walking into a comic shop, I'd be like, where am I? You
Yeah.
know? So that's why I just truly love that you're doing this, and why I want to spread the word about it. And like I said, I had two of my closest friends were Jewish, and it was very true, because we talked about that sometimes. Like, where are we here?
Yeah.
Unless it was some type of stereotype or some type of negative image that I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So,
I mean, it's either kind of a nebbishy secular New Yorker with anxiety issues,
okay,
or
we blame Woody Allen for that.
yeah, or it's a Holocaust survivor, some kind of Holocaust story.
Right, that they can only talk about.
Right. It's very the sort of pop cultural image of Jews and Jewishness has been fairly limited.
Right.
Um, you
Right.
know,
And with my friends, where was the difference? I mean, yeah, they went to temple, but that's not what we're playing outside.
Mhm.
There was no difference.
Right.
Just like in our company, we're getting deep on this one. I never do this on this show, but with our company, one of our tenets was we said we wanted to reflect our world, which is hard, because we said, when, like, I was driving Lyft, and I was paying attention to who got in my car, and it was like, okay, 20% big white dudes, 20%.
Right.
But the world was not showing me that. The world was trying to say, oh no, it's 95% regular Englishy white. No, that's not what you see. And then we also said one of our tenets was we wanted to be 50% women, because let's face it, we live in a world that's basically 50-50. Basically, I know. Don't write in and tell me what the exact number is. We're going to call it 50-50. And that was hard too, but we came extremely close. So it's important. That kind of stuff is really important. I know I'm jumping up on a soapbox here, but you brought it out of me, because when I saw this project, it made me think of this stuff and go, this is right. This should be here. And it's not only accessible to Jewish people. Everybody should be reading this stuff. There's great creators in here. There's great stories. And if you didn't know, you would just read it and enjoy it. So if you're reading it
Oh.
and putting a film over it, that's on you, man. You know? I
Yep.
can't tell you how many times I read a book or saw a movie or read a comic, listened to some music, and had no preconceived notion of who or what, other than I might be able to tell if it's a man or woman, maybe. Uh, and then you find out it's something completely different than what your mind's eye said, and you go, yeah, you know what? We're all the same. They just happen to be more creative than I am. So, Arnon, this is a wonderful project. Once again, it's on Kickstarter. It's Maggid Magazine. They're going for $30,000. They're, as of right now, 39 days to go, but it has not launched yet. So when it launches, it'll be a month. But get in there. Follow the link in the show notes, or go to Kickstarter and type in Maggid Magazine, Maggid, and you can get on the notify me list. I'm already on there, so I can't tell you exactly what it says. I already clicked the thing, but it will notify you upon launch. And I'm sure, knowing Arnon, there'll be updates and other information leading up to and during the show. And in fact, I'm going to try to supply you with a video of this that maybe you could throw on as an update on the Kickstarter, so people can
That
see
would be awesome.
you and get kind of a whole picture of everything. Uh,
Fabulous.
yeah, this is great. Oh, I'm going to ask a question that I know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it. Do you have any stretch goals? Because I know you're going to hit $30,000.
Well, as we approach $30,000, I will let you know what the stretch goals are. I think
Aha.
we are the people we're talking to about this magazine, who are, bit by bit getting more and more involved, are pretty incredible. So I'm hoping that some of these stretch goals start to include some stuff from some of these luminaries in the comics world. So
As
it's
it
going
gets
to be exciting.
closer, there's going to be excitement built too. So
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
That's really, really
It's gonna be a
fantastic.
lot of fun.
Are you thinking of doing anything with any of your film? Because I know you're a filmmaker. I didn't know if you had a stretch goal in mind that maybe had something to do with that. You don't have to tell me what it is. You could just say
So,
yes or
so
no.
I haven't included the film in any of the current stretch goal plans. Although because of my filmmaking background, I ended up being the guy who put together the video for the crowdfunding page. So I'm still putting final touches on that. It's not up on any sort of preview thing yet. But yeah, the campaign's going to have a really fun video. So
Yeah,
I'm
when that
excited about that.
happens, that's another reason that you want to follow this and get in early because you'll be able to see this video, and I guarantee it's going to be a good video.
Mhm.
Arnon is super talented, and if I catch it, God knows, I'll try. I'll share it on GoFundMe on our socials when it hits, so that people can watch it and
Fabulous.
hopefully get excited.
Thank you.
Arnon, where can people interact with you?
All right. Best places to interact with me are on three social media platforms where I spend most of my social media time. Those are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay.
Um, and I think I'm most responsive on Facebook at the moment, but that shifts week to week. Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Arnon Shorr. That's ARNONSHORR. On Twitter, I got in real early on Twitter, so I got at Shorr. That's at
Ah,
SHORR. So
wow.
yeah, really easy on Twitter.
That is
And
super early too.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, I'll put that in the show notes as well. So I make it easy for people. Some people hear it, some people don't.
sure.
So Arnon, you are always welcome back. In fact, I'm going to suggest I have something for you.
Hmm,
Once you hit this and once this magazine is started up, we need to stay in a tighter communication because I'll start anyone you want to send me that's being featured in Maggid Magazine. We'll put them on Alley Chat so we can start hearing their stories
fabulous.
and promote what they're doing. And I would love to just feature everybody. I've done it with Storm King Comics. I've done it with 2000 AD. I've had a lot of fun doing that, and I would love to do that with Maggid Magazine.
That sounds great.
All
That
right,
sounds great. And
put
that
that one in your pocket. So when you hit
perfect.
this goal and you're all excited, now you know you have another outlet that you can go to that I would love to have
Absolutely.
people on.
Absolutely. All
Arnon,
right.
thank you for coming on. It was my pleasure and my honor.
My
Uh,
pleasure as well. Absolutely.
Good luck with this. You are going to succeed, and I can't wait to see what those stretch goals are. The Kickstarter campaign for Maggid ends on August 18th. Do not wait till the last minute. Pledge today and support this wonderful and important project. Thanks again, Arnon, for coming on the show and sharing this Kickstarter with us. If you or anyone you know has a crowdfunding effort about to launch or currently going, send them my way. I love to share cool projects and to help people reach their goals. You can connect with me through the Go Fund This podcast Facebook page or via email directly to rob@smgpods.com. Please rate and review Go Fund This wherever you listen to this podcast. It really helps other people find this show, and it really helps spread the word about these amazing projects. You can find a link to this Kickstarter and any other links we discussed in the show notes. Go Fund This is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted, edited, and produced by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks again for listening to Go Fund This.